1 year ago tonight, Roger Ailes and the Fox News Channel took a risk by changing an already successful lineup and giving us the chance to join you each night at 9 o'clock. And you have made that decision a huge success. Fox News just celebrated one of the most successful periods in our history. And because of all of you watching at home, we have become one of the top programs in cable news. Number 2, we are, behind Mr. Bill. So we say thank you. And to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, we took some of your suggestions of your favorite Kelly File moments and featured them in this special reel. We've been working hard on it. Watch. Welcome to the very first broadcast of the Kelly File, live from the heart of New York. What's it like to be the most hated man in America? Moments ago, Fox News getting our very first look at concrete numbers from the big healthcare sign-up. And it shows just 6 people enrolled on the first day of signups. Okay, so when the president said to the people, if you like your plan, you can keep it, period, you believe he genuinely believed that in his mind?
Whether you could anticipate what business would do is irrelevant. The Affordable
Stop
Care
saying
Act.
That, because I'll tell you what's relevant to my viewers. I think I know my viewers, and I think they think this is relevant.
Megyn Kelly and the Kelly File will have a special live hour at midnight Eastern. Megyn joins us live from New York. Hey, Megyn.
Hey, Brett.
Hey.
So I've now determined that there is one tiny downside to taking 9 p.m.
Occasionally, there's a government shutdown and debt deal to come up with at midnight. What's coming up on the show? This is supposed to be a tease for you.
There's a lot of people that want other options to work, but the only place they can go is to Walmart.
So my phone was ringing during the last segment, and it turns out that Fresh Direct is at my house delivering the turkey for tomorrow. So honey, if you could let them in. Okay, glad we cleared that up. I mean, it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. You got to get some business done. In other news,
you seem pretty straight down the line. How do you deal with that?
Thank you. I'm a straight news anchor. I'm not one of the opinion hosts at Fox. But I always laugh because, I'll have a conservative pull me aside and say, I love your conservative principles. And I'll say, you assume too much. And then I'll have the liberals pull me aside and say, I know you're one of us. A few days ago, I had the chance to sit down with family members of the Newtown shooting victims. Did you find that forgiveness? Have you gotten there a year later?
I found it the day after.
How?
There was no other way. So I didn't want to live in pain, and I mean live in pain and hate. I didn't want to hate.
When you think back on your time here, how will you remember it? How do you remember it now?
I remember it as an awful lot of fun, and that I made an awful lot of mistakes, and I wish I could go back and be more uniting in my language, because I think I played a role, unfortunately, in helping tear the country apart, and it's not who we are.
They're canceling the train. Does that mean that you and I are having another night in bed together? That's a long story.
Oh, my goodness. I have no words, except that we're going to be on YouTube in a few minutes.
A Malaysian airline aircraft apparently lost contact with air traffic control several hours ago. Raise your hand if you now think this is a criminal case. Wow. Do you feel exonerated?
Yeah, I do.
Has this incident given you any pause about your own behavior?
No, I mean, because I think what people don't understand, or some don't want to understand, is I'm a really passionate guy, and I'm very direct.
Ayaan Hirsi Ali is a fellow at the Belfer Center for the Future of Diplomacy at the Harvard Kennedy School.
I have systematically been condemned by Muslim individuals, Muslim organizations, relatives, any time that I bring up the treatment of women in Islam or the link between violence and violence justified in the name of Islam.
What are young women supposed to be doing, and older women, differently in the workplace setting?
They need to negotiate for themselves, but they need to do it differently. For example, use more communal language, we, not I. Explain when you're advocating for your own compensation.
We need some more money.
Well, here's a good example.
We deserve it. We are joined now by 6 members of Bo Bergdahl's platoon. Guys, thank you all so much for being here.
I don't know how he felt about us, but we would all die for him. And he left.
Raise your hand if you think he deserted. Wow. Raise your hand if you have some question about whether he deserted. Wow. Breaking tonight, a stunning development on this primary election night. The news breaking just a short time ago that House Majority Leader Eric Cantor has been defeated by Dave Bratt, a little-known and little-funded political novice. Wow, how about that lineup? Look at those guys. That's a four handsome gentlemen right there, ready to take us through this. When you play cards with your grandkids, you let them lose. If they lost, they lost.
Well, I do. I mean, I don't annihilate them, which I actually could do. I have to leave them with some sort of spirit. But I have been railing against this, and I don't understand the practical result of it. When you run a race, the object of the race is to win the race.
You describe yourself as a fair, down-the-middle journalist. You're between, your show is on between two, I would describe as very conservative journalists. You're on after Bill O'Reilly. You're on before Trump.
O'Reilly hates that label. I think he's more of a populist.
He hates a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he does. He does. My dream is that someday I'll be number one and not him, and he'll write a book called Killing Meghan.
There you go.
Is Barack Obama's presidency imploding? Al-Qaeda is resurging, Iraq is disintegrating, and now we may look to Iran to help us stop it. Iran. Tonight, new worries Iraq could be on the brink of a civil war that could engulf the larger Middle East. What do you say to those who say you were so wrong about so much at the expense of so many? You realize people could have been hurt. You admitted that at the beginning of the interview.
I said people could have been hurt, and thank God they weren't. And we made every attempt not to, and they weren't.
Do you appreciate the recklessness of that?
I don't say it wasn't reckless.
Who are you to potentially endanger the lives of those individuals who may have been in or around those buildings?
I don't say it wasn't reckless, and I don't say it wasn't illegal. It was illegal. We crossed lines of legality.
It's so much bigger than that,
We crossed lines of legality.
You
maybe
could have murdered
sense.
somebody with those bombs. Nancy Pelosi either doesn't know what she is talking about or is intentionally misleading you. Joining me now in their first joint television interview since the end of the 2012 presidential campaign, Governor Mitt Romney and Congressman Paul Ryan. You believe that President Obama has made, quote, more mistakes than you predicted. How so?
Well, the list is long.
Does this change the race? I mean, could his seat, obviously he's a Democrat, go red because of this?
Well, he was looking pretty toasty before. I would say this is bacon now. I would say this is all cooked.
Bacon. Thanks, Chris.
Well, people love bacon.
New fallout tonight from the president's argument that the terror group calling itself the Islamic State is neither Islamic nor a state. Discuss. Sorry, Linda Richmond. I'm sorry, but did you see that? I mean, you know, right? Grape nuts. Neither grapes nor nuts. Why did he say that?
If you're going to build that coalition, you're going to have to come off the golf course, get away from the fundraisers, and do the job. And look some of these guys in the eye and explain to them how the cow eats the cabbage, as we like to say down south.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds profound. I'm going to Google that during this commercial break. Governor, thank you for being here. Good evening and welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. We expect to hear from the president within moments, outlining his strategy for defeating the terror group ISIS. My exclusive interview with former Professor Ward Churchill. Do you believe the United States ought to be bombed?
I think the United States, by its own rules, is subject to being bombed.
You can't answer the question.
Yeah, I have answered the question. I think the United States should comply with law if it does having done to it everything it does to anyone else.
Answer honestly, yes or no. Do we deserve to be bombed? Just say it if you think it's true.
I say that if you open yourself up under rule of law for reciprocation in kind, it's quite likely going to happen.
What a dark moment that must have been. You're in this Sudanese prison. You're holding your newborn baby. Your young toddler son is in there with you. You're knowing that you have been sentenced to die. How did you deal with that?
This was a very difficult situation, but I had my faith in God. I knew that God would help me, that God knew that I was a victim of injustice. It is my right to be able to practice the religion I choose.
She is very striking, but very metallic, very cold. Her eyes are very cold. And then there's the eyes. Man's got a point. They can be cold. Not as cold as those of the 3 people killed while making bombs for Ayers' group, but icy at times. especially when I'm looking at a serial bomber who terrorized so many, including an innocent little boy. By the way, when my husband Doug Brunt was on to talk about his new book, The Means, the viewers said that my eyes looked very dreamy. Look at them there. Look. Just see the dreaminess? So there's not always cold. It depends on the person. She says the greatest invention in her lifetime is the garage door opener. And today, my Nana, mother of 2, grandmother of 5, great-grandma of 11, turned 99 years young. You were very beautiful.
Oh, I know. Stop the baloney.
It's not baloney, Nan. You were beautiful then, and you still are. And for what it's worth, you too have the power to change your life and find happiness in our limited time here. I'm Megyn Kelly. This is The Kelly File. I wanted to call that the changing hairstyles of Megyn Kelly, but they said no, it's just a highlight reel. We owe it all to you, and we thank you. Up next,